Hello, my name is Joe, and this is a quick tutorial where I'm going to go through these two questions from a 7 plus mathematics paper. The paper is not actually a past paper from UCS, as UCS don't actually publish their previous papers, but these questions are very similar to what you can expect in a 7 plus maths exam from UCS or any school, in fact. So question 4 here is asking the student to put the correct sign in the spaces provided below. And they're able to choose from the addition sign, the subtraction sign, the multiplication sign, and the division sign. So the theory which the student needs to know behind this is essentially what each of these signs do. And what I've done here on the right is just split them into two categories to make it easier to remember and understand. So when we make a number big or a number is made bigger, we add or we multiply. When we make a number smaller or a number is made smaller, we subtract or we divide. So now let's look on the left here at the parts themselves. Part A, 23 space 8 equals 15. So we can see here that we're making the numbers smaller as 15 is less than 23. So we are either going to be using the subtraction sign or the division sign. So let's start off with the subtraction sign and see if this works. 23 minus 8 equals 15. Yes, that is correct. 23 minus 8 does equal 15. So therefore, it is correct to place the subtraction sign here. So now let's look at B. 30 space 5 equals 6. So now I'd like to ask you, what do you think? Are we making the number bigger or are we making the number smaller? Well, if you answered that we are making the number smaller, then you are correct, because this is exactly what we're doing, as 6 is clearly less than 30. So, as we've already used the subtraction sign, we can put the division sign here. But let's just check if this works to be 100% certain. 30 divided by 5 does equal 6, and this is what the statement says. So therefore, placing the division sign there is correct. Now part C, 7 space 2 equals 14. Again, I'd like to ask, what do you think we're doing? Are we making the number bigger or are we making the number smaller? In this case, if you answered you are making the number bigger, then you are correct, because 7 is clearly smaller than 14, hence we are therefore making the number bigger. So, in this case, it'll either be the addition sign or the multiplication sign we put in the space. So let's just trial and see what happens if we put the addition sign. So 7 plus 2 equals 14. Well, as you can see, this isn't correct because 7 plus 2, as we know, is equal to 9. It doesn't equal 14. So therefore, the addition sign cannot be correct. So let's try the multiplication sign instead. So 7 times by 2 equals 14. And this indeed is correct. So this is what we want to put here. And then for the final one, again, we can do the same process. Are we making the number bigger or are we making the number smaller? We're making the number bigger, as 30 is larger than 23. So it's either addition or multiplication. But as we already used the multiplication sign, here we can put the addition sign. But again, let's check to be 100% certain. 23 plus 7, what does it equal? 30. And this is what the statement says, so it is therefore correct. Now let's move on to question 15. This was the last question on the paper which I selected, so therefore one of the hardest and one of the questions which differentiates between which students get accepted and which don't. So therefore it's really important to know how to do these types of questions. So let's have a look at it. It's asking the student to fill in the spaces with the numbers 0 to 9. All lines should add to 9 and each number should only appear once in the triangle. So what I'd recommend to do, and what I've done, is just write down the two key pieces of information the question gives to you on the right so it's easier to read and remember and understand. Also the other key pieces with a number 0 to 9. But the trick with a question like this is knowing where to start. And in this case, there are actually two potential starting points. And these are here and here. This is because on each of these lines there are already two numbers. So therefore, there only exists one possibility for there and there. But this should become clearer as we go through it. So let's start here. We know that each side or line must add up to 9. So as we've already got two numbers, let's add those together first. So 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. So now we know that this number here, when added to 5, must equal 9. And if you were thinking of the number 4, then perfect, because that is exactly what it is there. And then we can check quickly, 3 plus 4 is equal to 7, plus 2 is equal to 9. And now let's do the same process on this side. 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. So let's think, what do we need to add to 8 to make 9? And if you're thinking of a 1, then perfect again, because that is exactly what we do. And now let's check again. 3 plus 5 equals 8, plus 1 equals 9. So this side also adds up to 9. And now let's repeat this process one more time with the final side or line. 2 plus 1 equals 3. So what do we then need to add to 3 to make 9? And the answer is 6. And let's check this again to be sure. 2 plus 6 is 8, plus 1 equals 9. So now let's also just quickly check we've followed this condition. We can only use number once. So we've only used 1 once, we've only used 6 once, 2 once, 4 once, 3 once, and 5 once. So therefore, we have followed this condition and we have followed this condition. So this right here is the answer you would want to give. So this concludes my short tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it, and if you require anything else you would like me to do, I am more than happy to do so. Thank you.